Yo, what's good? I just thought I would press the record button, give some people that are cooped up in their houses and their homes an opportunity to just kind of get on the road and live vicariously through this. I'm not going to do a lot of talking, at least I don't know. I'm going to go head up to the Berkshires real quick. You know what's crazy is that when I drive, I don't play any music. Sometimes I'll get into some music, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I never listen to music, and well, not any longer. There was a time where everywhere I went, I was surrounded with music. If I wasn't singing or hanging out in the studio with a very good friend of mine who owned an independent record label, I was like, my CD collection was in the thousands, and I walked away from all that because it was just, I guess it was from walking away from the radio. That radio, that frequency coming out of that radio, it's like you're addicted to it. And if you turn off the radio and the TV, you will suffer from major headaches, and you will go through some sort of withdrawal. This is something that I've talked about in the past, is how these radios are pumping out a frequency, and if you stay away from it, it takes like almost 6 months to recover from it. Because normally when you turn on the car, the first thing that comes on is the radio. And it's really loud too. Then when you walk into your home, one of the first things you do after taking off your shoes and putting your keys in that little hook or that dish is to turn on that television. And I know people were triggered by that and immediately said, not me. Well, you're not the one I'm talking to then. Not all, but most people turn on their televisions. And there's a frequency coming out of that TV. And it's directly linked to somehow maybe our subconscious or what, I don't know. And it's not that I'm not smart enough to know or it's above my pay grade. It's just, I don't need to know any of the facts. I lived it. I lived the headaches. I lived feeling as if something in my body wasn't right, like just like an imbalance. And then slowly I started to feel better and better and better and better and better. And that was the longer I stood away from the radio. But it took at least 30 days before my body was just like, yo, dude, put the radio back on. And I tested it out. I put the radio back on. And it was a weird comfort that you felt without understanding or knowing this was the test. You see, I knew what I was doing was a test. I was doing an actual study. So I was very aware, very present, very in the moment. And this is when I started to realize that, or at least come to the realization, yeah, same thing, that something is up with the damn frequency coming out of this radio. Something is up with the frequency coming out of this television. And that's when I started to do research on the television. And I did the research on the patents. I'm actually going to have some t-shirts with patent numbers on them. And the t-shirts possibly will just say something like patent number P dot 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 dot, and then it says, or maybe, I don't know, because I don't think I can use the actual photos of the patent and the patent numbers. All I can do is reference the number and then, like maybe say U.S. patent for a mind control device. And that mind controlling device is the radio and the television. So, I'm gonna have that done soon. Last night I touched a little bit on the ebook that I'm working on and the story that I'm working on, because it's a fictional story and it has some key real is to release an ebook. So Will the ebook be thrown together, piecing it together? To some degree, from my perspective, yes. But from someone else's perspective, this might be like Rosenberg, the author. And I learned that from Star. Publish or perish, because we're only in this for 80 years. 80 years and we're out of here. But this particular story that I have here, I've been working on my original plan after the whole Usher's Rockaway boondocking channel. It says Weekender Tour. It's a 1963 or 1962 Winnebago teardrop style. Not teardrop style, but you know, that size. Sleeps 4 comfortably. So you get an opportunity to check out the Weekender Tour. The only thing lacking in that tour was the bathroom. I didn't get a chance to, or I just was moving so fast, I didn't show off the bathroom. But I'll revisit that Weekender Tour for the channel. So, it's YouTube, the ability to do research. You know, if you want to change a light bulb on your 2011 Hyundai Santa Fe, I can find at least 4 videos. And I can check out each video to see whether or not they all doing the same thing, or does someone have a little bit of a twist to it. You know, just like Operation Mockingbird and Operation Paperclip. All these things, you can go to YouTube and then you can see that half of the people there on YouTube are all repeating what they heard on like a Natural Geographic's channel or something. So then you say, let me just keep searching, and then you keep scrolling down to the guy with only 248 views. Hold on. So, hey, can I call you back? I'm always. All right, buddy. I'm gonna be back in town like around 7. Yeah. My rental. I'm I'm going to the Berkshires to check to switch up the rental. Somebody's renting it for the next day. I'll talk about it when I talk about it anytime. I'll let you know. All right, perfect. Hello? All right, cool. They're done. They're gone. Yeah, so I left the radio alone and I started to, drive without the radio. And it's made a very, very great impact. Whereas before I never thought. I thought about the commercials and the products that they pushed on me. I thought about the person who got caught up in a fire. And I felt their pain, and I felt the narrative and everything that was pushed on me. All these narratives became like unnecessary once I turned off the radio and turned off the television. I started to look at my life totally different. I started to realize that I was in the wrong business. I started to realize that I was unhappy, and I was for no reason. The proverbial that pizzerias And none of that is true. I wasn't gonna every week and help bring in some sort of income, like, you know, 500 a week or something. Let me have this money work. Doesn't work like that when the system is geared to kick the little man. The little man is getting kicked. Yeah, I don't recommend anybody open up a small business and think they're gonna get rich. Think it's not gonna be anything other than a job. And the banks, they're not even lending any money. You have to have so much liquid. You know, we're talking 2, 3, 400,000 liquid just to do anything with it. Banks, they're like, we see you're generating 400 grand, but that's not really a business. You see, a business is $3,000 a day. That's a business. Anything else, the bank thinks you're too risky. And then they don't look into account that you're working in the business. You work in the business is the worst thing you can do. You working in the business is the worst thing you can do. Because you're looked at as a mom and pop. You're looked at as, that's your job. That's not your business. And by turning off the radio and turning off the television, believe it or not, helped me wake up that I did not own a business. I owned a job. And the system does not want you to own a job. No. Because that leaves you with way too much freedom. They want to count all your money. I remember when I got audited, they had me bring up every single receipt and added every receipt for my registers. All my register receipts from being in the bar business, I always knew to keep all the register receipts. So here I am in this small little business, and out of nowhere, they just audited me. I had workman's comp audit me, and everybody wanted to know, did my employees match how much work is being done? And am I paying the proper amount of money? And at first, I was like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, get out of here with that. And they determined on their own how much money I made and how much money I owed, which was crazy. I was like, yo, I didn't make that kind of money, man. What are you talking about? And I said, and the day you came by and you saw those people there, you know, that was my father visiting. And my, you know, I had a couple of friends come by. Those are not employees. And yeah, it was crazy. How the way they kicked the little man in America, oh my God. The little man gets kicked so hard while he's down. Yeah, I don't recommend it. I mean, unless you're cool with making $150K a year, 12 hours a day for 6 days, stressing out whether you can pay your staff. Every Monday you start off in the hole. You got the garbage bill, you got the workman's comp, you got the cable bill, phone bill. And I know you think you can do it with just, you know, a cell phone and all that kind of stuff. And I know you think you can do it with this and that and that and this. But with Grubhub now taking 10% and DoorDash taking 10%, and every one of these companies taking 10%, you know, 10% of your business goes to these companies. So you're barely making any money, because if you've got a business, right, you want at least 30% of the money after everything is paid to go to your pocket. And that's hard to do. If you can get up to 35% of your money, you're like an intelligent person who knows business, and you're doing really well. If you can get 35% of your money, oh my God, you are like uber intelligent. You're like making all the right decisions. You made like your father brought you in on the business and taught you everything you know, and that's why you're making 35%. I'm telling you. So just imagine now, 10 more percent has to go to these damn grub hubs. And people think, oh yeah, but you're making more money. Yeah, right. By people being lazy, you're not making more money. By people being lazy, you're not making more money. Because, and I say that people are being lazy. That's a cute little Kia. Nitro. I see you, little Nitro. 10% of your money is now going to Grubhub, when all you were trying to do was make 30-35% of your money from the business. So now you got to figure out this 10%, and you're not getting more people. I was saying because people are lazy. People don't want to walk down the block and pick up their pizza anymore. They want a delivery. You know, delivery was for Domino's and all these other places, and then of course pizzerias always have delivery too, but you always have like 2 delivery guys. Most of your money is from people walking in or driving up. Now you got 15 delivery guys. So now the guy who made a living off of delivery is in competition with a guy on a bicycle and a backpack that works for 5 different companies and has no loyalty, doesn't care. You don't even know who these people are. They just show up, show you a cell phone, you scan the cell phone, you hand them a bag, they walk out the door. So now what happens to the real delivery guy you have? He has to wait for just the phone calls to come in to do the company while working for you, and he's been with you 2-3 years. So what do? Do you make him a pizza man? What do? Now they're paying them $15 an hour, $16 an hour, and up 3 or 4 or 5 or. Yeah, it's gonna take a serious group of people to get that going. Getting the food and ordering that stuff is fine. It's just pizza still requires humans, and that's what the system wants to do. The system wants to bring in the robots. That's what the system wants to do. The system wants to bring in the robots. They want the robots to make the pizza. They want you to be able to choose all the toppings you want, and it goes down a conveyor to human to come with to scan the phone. Trust me when I tell you, this is the world they want. They want you in your house, and anything you want, we'll just have it delivered. And it's all going to be made by these robots. I've already seen them robots flipping burgers. And let me tell you, I understand, and humans are they want them to merge. But check this out, because this is the objective perspective. And let me just say this. I'm trying to piece my words together properly. Look at that eagle in the sky. Can you see that eagle in the sky? Beautiful. Jesus. Let me say this. I kind of hate the idea of a robot making the pizza. I kind of hate the idea of the robot making the burger. The problem is, it's so hard to find reliable people. It's so hard to find a person who's gonna flip your burgers. It's like when you're dealing with humans, you're dealing with people that want a break, want a day off, don't want to work 12 hours every day as if this business was their business. This is your business. So when you're in the food industry, you can find very few people that can come in on a Monday and perform every day properly. You know, who's going to make sure that they follow the proper steps when they're cooking the food, so that that person comes to the restaurant, and every time they come to your restaurant, they will get the same taste. Not going to be too much salt when Gilberto is there, and it's not going to be too much salt when, you know, Pierre's there. And when Emilio's there, it's always perfect. No. You see, that's the problem. So you have to have these strict instructions on how to salt your food and do your food properly. And then you got the problem with the guy whose grandmother always dies. Always a problem. Likes to get drunk. Likes to fight with his wife. All these different things are happening. And you got to maintain a business where the food is going to taste every single time a person gets, you know, the Alfredo. It's like amazing. That's the problem. So I understand the need for the robot. One time. Not one and then one and then open up another one after 3-4 years. Those days are over. You got to open up 5 at one time, and then you get the respect. And people say, whoa, everywhere I turn I keep seeing these, let me go in, they must be good. Well, you know how many times people are going to drop by your joint and go, I'll wait to see. Wait to see what? I need you now. I need you today. I need you, you know, come on. And with my pizzerias, what I was trying to do was, I was trying to open up one every 3 miles. But let me tell you, staffing a place like that properly ain't gonna happen. And then I had no capital. No one has any money. You know, I'm at the bottom. I'm at the very, 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 very bottom. No banks will lend me any money. Every single friend I have is dying of something and has no money. All my friends are aging black men in their 50s. And they're all broke. And the ones that don't look broke are still broke. You know, I got one, you know, he's driving the big Escalade, making about 130 grand a year, and it only has about 3 grand in his savings. You know? I mean, a lot of my friends, man, it's like, a lot of my family, they look so good, they look so clean, the shoes are from the top designers, their shirts are, you know, knitted twice. But got no money, got no access. We're at the bottom. I want to get out the bottom. All right, let me get back to what I was talking about. I digressed from that. And I was talking about the robots. I get it. Again, you know how many times somebody, I told this one guy, I was like, yo, dude, you told me your grandmother died last month. He's like, no, that was my father's, no, that was my father's mother. Then he comes back a week later, 2 weeks later, yo, my grandmother died, I can't come to work tonight. And I'm like, yo, your grandmother's the third grandmother? He says, nah, this is like somebody's, that was my mother to him. I was like, whoa. I'm like, yo, dude, man, you ain't got to come back, man. Have a good life. You know, and then I got to find somebody else and do that all over with, over and over and over and over and over and over again. How you going to open up 5 businesses and you can't even staff it properly because there's always excuses, always lies. The food business is hard, man. You see some of the top restaurants, that person only owns one. Like the ones on TV, they own like 15 restaurants and all that. Yeah, right. Yeah, you own it in name, but you have like you have a staff of like 14 making sure, and each one of them are getting paid 90 grand, 80 grand. The lowest paid person, of course, they're black, of course, they're a woman, and they're getting paid, 50. Everybody else is getting paid 80 to keep these restaurants going. It's no joke. So I get the robot concept. I get, having a robot make the burgers because every burger is going to come out right every time. All I need is a prep guy to load up the area where the burgers go. And that you can just hire high school kids doing that. Anyway, I know I sound like a real big time capitalist, but when you live this stuff, you understand this stuff. You see the snowflakes? That is not pollen. Is that pollen? That might have been. No, that's not pollen. As long as it's a flake and not a hail, because when you see hail, that's for tornadoes, and that's not supposed to be the northeast. Look at that. What is that? What is that? Is that pollen? Or is that snow? Yeah, the northeast is not supposed to have all this crazy tornado style weather and all this clouds and no participate. My tongue is so tired right now. Precipitation. There's no precipitation, just clouds. Enjoy the ride, y'all. You all enjoy the ride. Sorry if I'm not reading any of the stuff coming up. This is where most accidents happen on this turn. I've seen at least 3 pileups on this turn here. I don't get it, but that turn is a big deal for some. Yes, it does not look real to me neither. It looks like a screen. I know. Just because it looks like a screen doesn't mean it's not a screen. Going about 62 in a 55. I'm still the slowest guy on the road. Oh, roadkill. About 64. Woo. Wow. I'm going about 58 and a 55. About 60. 155 and a 55. Going 65, 66, 67, and a 65. Maybe we'll listen to a little more facts. One of the best podcasts ever existed or ever created.
You know, I see so much of the obvious, but there's a lot of power in the machine that are really pushing.
Started from the beginning.
Mo Facts with Adam Curry for June 2nd, 2020. This is episode number 39. A new month, but the crazy has just increased. How you doing, Mo?
I'm doing good, Adam. How about yourself?
Well, I'm okay. You know, I'll be honest with you. It's a little unsettling, not so much as to what's happening, but why it's happening. And we're talking, of course, about this day, the 2nd of June, 2020. We got, I don't know if it's happening tonight, but we've had a couple of days of weird demonstrations/riots all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world.
I mean, it was mind-boggling to see thousands of people on the dam in Amsterdam. It's just, and you know, and they're protesting racism in America. It's fantastic to watch what is happening, and I'm so glad that we get to talk because, man, this has just been a weird one. How about you? I mean, what you feeling?
I'm fine, but dealing with the people, I was in a situation where I had to deal with people that I normally don't have to deal with on a daily basis, and that is being family.
Yeah.
And it's just shocking how indoctrinated they are by the media, and it's a large part of the reason why we do this show.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised. I mean, there was a family gathering. I was like, I was drained from channeling their emotional
probably I have that too, I guess, because I look at this stuff and I see so much of the obvious, but there's a lot of power in the machine that are really pushing this all one way, and there's a lot of groups that are participating in this and taking advantage of it. And this is not something that even the Mo Facts show with Adam Curry cannot, address everything that's happening. It's not a one and done. I mean, this is kind of the culmination of where the show has been going for months now. And it's really the topics have gone right along with the current events. It's just insane to see how it's all flowed together.
Right, and I had a lot of people who contact me in like past shows, like, oh, it's so relevant now. One being white privilege, the other one being white fragility.
Yeah, that's a big one. So, the white fragility is definitely one, which was that episode
24,
something like that. Yeah, that's a lot of good
13 and 24 are the the two I've been contacted the most this week about.
And also, I would say,
I'm lowering the bass. I couldn't take that, so I'm hoping this works. It'll go right back. I'm going 60 or 59 and a 65. See that little swerve I did? Looking down too long.
13 and 24 are the the two I've been contacted the most this week about.
and also, I would say white supremacy is now that was one of the earlier ones. We did a whole white supremacy overview, didn't we?
Yes, I think that was 13. That was white privilege and white supremacy.
Right.
All that was rolled up in one show. But yeah, we're not gonna get into the blow by blow of what's going on at the moment, but the show topic for today, I think we can look at it through the lens of what's going on right now.
All right, well, let's crank up the wheel. Let's see what's going on in our fabulous wheel of topics. Where it stops, nobody knows, but of course, no, really does know. And let's see, today's topic will be
passing. She was passing for white.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
can I don't know if this is where you want to start, but just from my own experience when Minneapolis started and when the riots started, and I looked at what the news media was calling black protesters, I'm like, yeah, but I know what a Somali looks like, and you can tell. And maybe a little bit off, maybe a country over, but I'm like, hold on a second, what's going on here? And it didn't take long just to look at, just a couple of searches to find out the huge Somali population, but gangs and all kinds of stuff is going on in Minneapolis. And I know it's been there, but it never really popped to the front of national news. It sure did now, though.
And I'm seeing a lot of things in this whole protest thing about who's in the protest or / riots, depends on what time it is.
Yeah, right.
But it's labeled as the black protest. Right. Everything is black. And on this show, I've tried to warn people of how they lump everything into black. Even to the point where they'll be talking about the black unrest, the black people are upset, the black people are upset, but they'll show the screen and it's mostly white people or what we classify as black in America, we call ADOS here. That's what they're trying to, like, this hodgepodge, like, put it all together and we're going to take the blame for it. And that's the bottom line. When this is all over, said and done, we're going to take the blame for it like we did with Corona, like we did with everything else. But today's show is a conversation we had, I believe, on 37.
Okay.
It was one of our longest back and forths where we didn't quite see eye to eye. And what I want to do is get into the genesis of that conversation, and then we can go from there just through the show. And honestly, I don't know where this conversation is really going to go. I have clips. I don't really have a storyline per se. I just want to really cover what passing is, what black is, what's not black. Why don't people want to be black? And
Well, if I could
take it from there.
Yeah, if I can just share a personal thing where you know this went down on Thursday or whatever it was, and I sent you a text, and I said, "Dude, this is Somalis. What the hell's going on?" And your reply was really, for me, tone setting and quite telling. I think you literally said, "Yeah, now you know why it's messed up to be called black, because you just get lumped in."
One of many host of reasons why to be called
obviously.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying you're right, because anything with brown skin is black, and in the show that's not necessarily a qualifier as well.
well, certainly not in context of what, and I always remind myself, okay, here's what people are seeing, here's what they've been told, here's what they. And so no doubt that when the media is talking about black, African American, etc., I think they specifically mean ADOS because of Black Lives Matters and the 400-year virus and all the different memes I've seen bandied about right now. So that's what they mean, but that's not always what you're seeing or what it is.
Of course not. And truth be told, in New York, there's a very small ADOS population as well.
Oh yeah,
which has been epicenter of the protest/riots. Not just talking about Minneapolis. Want to get into the clip that spurred this spirited back and forth between me and you.
What does reparations look like, Nicole Hannah-Jones? Is it going to happen? Those are two different questions. This is what I'll say. I think the question of what reparations looks like is not that challenging, right? Reparations looks like a cash payment to those who've betrayed ancestry. Sandy Darity, who you interviewed for your piece, is kind of the chief economist and thinker on this. If you can trace a descendant back to American slavery, you qualify for reparations, and you can prove that 10 years prior to the discussion of reparations bill, you actually lived as a black person.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what did we talk about for so long? Yeah, it was the 10-year rule. That's right. Yeah. That was very interesting. I don't know if we really disagreed. I think you got me to a place where I was like, okay.
Not disagree, but I enjoyed the conversation so much. I was like, this should be a broader show. Right. A full conversation. Let's say that. And we got interrupted by Joe Biden.
That's right.
So it slipped back 1 week, but I didn't want to lose the fervor from the conversation, because I don't think it should have been limited just to 10 minutes. This topic is so broad because it's who is black? When do you stop becoming black? And I think it blends to now, why are black people treated the way they are? And I always use the so-called or quote-unquote, and I want to be clear, I'm not distancing myself from my lineage, and that's the real rub. I'm distancing myself from a title that somebody else created for my lineage. That's the problem. That's the problem I have with it. It's like, what is my past? Let me decide what my past is and how I identify. But no, as you pointed out with the riots, like, we're gonna merge everybody into this one group. We've seen this with people of color, aka colored people.
People.
It's fine.
Sorry, I missed my deal. I gotta work on that.
Yes, but yeah, that's that's what they're doing. So what I want to do is really go down that rabbit hole and see where a person separates themselves from a lineage and what is the reasoning for that.
Okay.
But before we get into that, I want to get into African American or black and what's the right term.
Since we've been here in America, we've had all these different names for ourselves, either thrust upon us or ones we chose, from colored to Negro to Afro-American to black to African-American. There's the problematic words of Spanish and Portuguese colonialism and their slave trade. So the blacks are called Negroes in both languages, so they were just called blacks. And so we use the word Negro. When you see colored people, that's smacked of the 40s.
Black power means the saving grace of our United States.
The late 50s, early 60s, civil rights activists on the more radical end, which are to say, we are not colored people, we're not Negroes, we are black. They wanted to go all the way. In that same way, they not white. So they really planted a really strong flag for the Black Power movement, the Black Panthers, the Black Arts movement, and the song. And the catch-alls are also so powerful.
Yeah, powerful because we went through this, because black is not always a positive color.
No,
Negative color.
true, but the reason that they chose black is that's the furthest thing you can get from being white.
Right.
And it was seen as a move of power. And that's where black power came from. And like you said, in the late 60s, it really cropped up. And I said this before the show, I asked my mom, and I even asked her this weekend, so I saw her again, Mom, when did you start becoming black? Because as he stated, a lot of the names were forced upon us. So black was the first one we really chose for ourselves. But black is nothing but Negro.
Hold on. Wasn't that Jesse Jackson who chose that?
No.
No, he chose African American.
Oh, he chose African.
I'm sorry. Right.
That
was when we we arrived, and we were going to be African American now, and that smacks of plans to come of mass immigration from Africa. So I think that was a preemptive move by whoever he was talking to say we have a lot of Africans coming into the country soon, so let's go to African American.
It sure stuck, though. It became kind of like the politically correct way to say it.
It stuck because it became like how the media referred to us, but we never stopped calling ourselves black. But on all the documentation, and all the, whenever you filled out anything, it started showing up as African American.
And do you recall a time when it said something else?
Yeah, it used to say black of non-Hispanic descent.
Right. Huh.
I remember as a kid when we used to take standardized tests.
Yeah.
You had to fill in the bubble, and it was black of non-Hispanic descent, and then it went to African American.
Right.
So this is why we clung to black, and to say that we're a different people. Now, is that a lineage? Is that the problem I have with black is that's a color.
Yeah.
And that's an adjective. It's not. It's not a noun.
Right. Which is why you liked ADOS until that got hijacked.
Right, because it was straight to the point. What are you, ADOS? American descendant slave. It says where my people are from, not denying their original origin, but to say this is specific to our lineage, and the whole point of this show is not about color, it's about lineage, and passing is really you're separating yourself from your lineage, and that's why I was so triggered, and other people are so triggered by it, is the denial of your blood.
Right.
That is very, very disrespectful.
Right. Which is how we came upon the you have to have lived at least 10 years as a black person, otherwise It's just so crazy, you know. It's crazy that would happen, but we have so many examples of blacks passing and taking advantage of it, and I guess that's where the rub comes in.
It's a big rub.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into all of that, but I want to go to a clip from not last show, but show 38, and this is Dr. Jose Pimentel Bay. He speaks on black ethnicity and African American.
This individual is calling himself white. We're going to react and call ourselves black because we're the opposite. Not really understanding that we're not exactly taking a step in the right direction, because now, as I like to say, given all the linguistic and cultural baggage of black, you are trying to push an elephant uphill on roller skates. You're trying to turn a negative into a positive.
Something just hit me as I'm listening to this. Why is it called Black Lives Matter and not African American Lives Matter?
Just like you said, it's global. It's to tie in the global effect, which, if you know who was that organization, that's why you see across the world people saying Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
But as Dr. Bay said, we're being reactive, and as we ended last show with the 7 habits of highly effective people, the first habit is being proactive.
Right.
So us being black is, okay, white is defined, like this is white, this is exclusive, which white is nothing, to be honest with you, and the definition of how white is used is pure. That's
right. Yes. But
everything else is impure, and now it's like, what level of impurity? I mean, what's your level of contamination?
Right.
So that's the problem I have with the term black, and it's not just me, because there is a groundswell of different quote-unquote black people trying to find their lineage, whether it be the Moors or the Hebrew Israelites,
right,
or Pan-Africanists. All these groups are trying to find a lineage, not a color. So it's not just me. I don't think black is broad enough to capture who we really are.
No, my personal views. How about American? That kind of works for me. How about American male? Yeah, that would work for me.
Right.
But it's just this continuous identification, which, I get it. I can't really feel it, but I fucking get it. How annoying that is.
And let me speak to that point right quick. And that was the pushback against ADOS. It's like, how do you want to be American? Why do you want to be American? It's like,
we are American.
From the claim to say that 400 years of our ancestors' labor helped build this country, I think we have a vested interest, in this country. But what we have to do is remove the impedance that we receive from actually truly being an American.
And where does that impedance come from?
Our skin color.
Right, but it's the impedance is others rejecting that or impeding that.
Right, it's real and not. I mean, some of it is mentally on our part, and then other things that we've seen how it played out in that video, of the cop killing and that black man. That's
and one day maybe that'll be something, but the white cop also got defined. Now he was defined by his action, but this is now burned into the way this was visual. The visual will have long.
Can I on top of his big game? You know when you see the guys kill lions or rhinoceros, And that goes back to us being viewed as animals for so many years.
Yeah.
Subhuman.
Super triggering this.
That's
super triggering. Yeah.
Right. So these are subconscious things that are going on. But we have to get back to why white, why black, what makes you white, what makes you black. I had a lot of throwback clips for this show because we touched on this subject so many times. It's surprising. So when I start digging back through the archive, it's like, wow, like that and that,
that comes back a lot, huh? Yeah.
Right. And this one is from show 9, and this is One Drop Rule with Dr. Yaba Blade and Don Lemon.
In the years following the abolition of slavery, some Americans feared a rise in interracial relationships. So states began passing laws to make sure that any child with a Negro and a white parent could be considered black and denied the rights of white people. In other words, a child with even one drop of Negro blood would be classified as Negro. This became known as the one drop rule, a standard ruled unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1967. This and the hardships of racism also caused African Americans to pretend they were white without ever telling their families, leaving a lot of whites not knowing they had black blood. But some experts on race relations say the legacy of the one-drop rule still exists in today's culture.
Started grafting in other ethnic groups.
Well, yes, I think the rise of the DNA test showed that no one's really pure. In fact, I think a lot of people were delighted to find out that they had all kinds of different DNA coursing through their veins.
That's true, but I would love to see, and just this, I'm playing devil advocate here. I would love to see. They say, what's 1/32nd? What's that math? Roughly, like 3%, I think.
Yeah.
Just do on my head. Say if you had more than 4% black blood in you, you have to classify yourself as black.
Yeah.
Then we'll start to see. How much people like to embrace their diversity.
Well, it's struck down by the Supreme Court for a reason, obviously, because
true. I'm just saying, a lot of people would be considered as passing. So this is way broader. If we use the old standard, like you said, it has been taken down. But if we use the old at more than 4%, you would be classified as black.
Right. Yeah.
I would love to see
let's see if those DNA tests are still popular. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Or
I got to tell you, I believe a lot of people, because this is where we've come to. It's very interesting, and I talk to a lot of young people, and so in their 20s. I think a lot of them would be, I think that they would be very cool with it if it truly was the 4% rule and you had to classify. There's something going on in the psyche that is very, very, I'm not sure, I can't even classify it. It's like...
It's the binary thing, so now, but the other binary is white is evil, and everything else not white is good.
Yeah, and that binary, and it flips, and you're so right, and it can flip for people multiple times in an hour, I think, because they're so confused. In fact, that is the problem here. We are confused, and then you shock some things in the system, and you get some people breaking stuff, some shocking images. This is a very, very confusing time, and it's very unhealthy. Well, obviously,
this time I would pass for something else. You see what's
wrong? Of course, anything's possible. I certainly believe a lot of the people I'm seeing today would be.
Well, that's the Hegelian dialectic.
That's
checkerboard 4 of the ruling elite. Their symbolism. I mean, all of this.
All the things we talked about all come together in this, man. It's really interesting.
So, what is the solution? No race.
Right.
One race, one world, no borders. Give up your lineage. That's the that's the end game of globalists.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it right there. That's it. Everybody all be one, all melt together. No.
To believe that we've moved beyond race.
Is she saying is the foundation